Hello and welcome to this tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to get front to back focus. So what do I mean by front to back focus? As you can see, I've got a picture of the Chesterton Windmill. Today on this occasion I found it very difficult to find a good composition. Normally this is a wheat field, so I mean that would have been a fantastic composition if I'd have had the wheat, because there's something about the wheat when it's wispy and it blows in the wind, you get a bit of movement. You can get that blur, you know, it just, especially in black and white pictures, the wheat itself, it looked amazing against this windmill, but unfortunately on this day it was a ploughed field, so I had to really look hard for a good foreground subject, because they say a landscape's never a landscape without a good foreground subject. So on this occasion I had to use this boulder here. I was laid down for the shot, and I managed to use that to sort of anchor the image. To get foreground and background in focus, as a rule of thumb, it's said to focus on the middle ground, and that's all very well depending on how far away your foreground subject is from the lens. On this occasion I was rather close, because I wanted the windmill to be prominent in the photograph. I wanted it to be big and bold, so I had to be as close as I could, really. So yeah, if you did want front to back focus, you can focus on the middle ground or sort of a third in, but then it's never that great. Sometimes it can make your foreground and background just a little bit off sharp, but on this occasion I wanted it pin sharp. I wanted everything in focus, and to do that you need to take multiple shots. So I've took one where the windmill's in focus, and then I took a second shot where I had my foreground in focus, and of course my windmill's now blurred. So what we have to do now is take that into Photoshop and combine those two images, and then we get the front to back focus, and as you can see it's really striking, getting that detail in everything, really all the way up to the windmill itself. Also in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create an action. By that I mean it's a one button process. So once we've created the action, all you would need to do in future is get your images that you've taken for, you know, the focus range, put it into Photoshop, press the button, which is the action button, and then Photoshop will do everything for you. It'll just bang out a nice front to back focus image, just basically recording the steps we're going to take today and then putting that as an action. Then it'll save you a lot of time in the future and speed up your workflow. Just before I do that, I'm going to edit these pictures in Lightroom just to get them looking their best, and then we'll transfer them to Photoshop and create the front to back magic. Right, so we've got one of the images in the develop module. I'm just going to run through the normal workflow process. I've got my lens correction at the top. Just so I'd do that first, so I'd enable the lens correction profile for that lens. And we go to start with basic. Do a white balance. So we click on a neutral colour, which is the whitest sort of area to the picture, which looks like this area here. That just corrects the picture. It's gone to -1 on the magenta tint, which is not, its white balance is pretty good. Exposure and contrast, tend to leave those as they are, really, unless I needed some heavy exposure, but it's not bad. The histogram's quite centralized. I'm just going to pop that on just to see whether I don't blow out the highlights, but I'm going to bring the highlights down just to bring some contrast into the sky and boost my shadows just a little bit, just so I get some detail in this area of the windmill, and also around the rock area. Whites and blacks, if you press Alt and press the slider at the same time, when you bring that across, see those bits are going to be, you're losing detail in those areas, so it's best not to go that far. But also look at the picture as well. You know, it's alright showing that, but it's got to look good to the eye, so just bring it like back a little bit. And same with the blacks. If you go over to the left, those bits are going to be black, so you're going to lose detail. So we want to bring that back a little bit. So we're at 0 there, we did really need to move that. Clarity, I like to ramp this up a little bit, just get some detail in the foreground and obviously on the windmill itself. And a little bit of vibrance, not too much on this picture. Right, I think we're done for the basic effects. We've got vignette, we don't really want to apply that just yet. Tone curve, again, I think we'll be alright without that at the minute. Detail, probably sharpen it just a tad. Don't want to sharpen it, over sharpen it though. So again, pressing Alt. Now, where it's black, it's not going to sharpen, and where it's white, it is. So we don't want to sharpen the clouds, so that's why we're masking the clouds out. So if it's all white, it'll sharpen the whole image. So if you bring this over, again I'm pressing Alt and just bring the slider across, and that will tell you where you just highlight, just sharpening the things you want to sharpen. As you can see there, we've got a dust spot, so I'm going to get rid of that just by using the dust spot remover. Let's see if there's any more while I'm at it. So down here we've got visualize spots. So if we press that, we've got quite a few. Wow. They're probably not visible on the picture, but it's best to get rid of them. I think I need to clean my lens a little bit. I think I had the aperture on quite high, so that unfortunately shows up all the dust particles on the, I don't think they're on the sensor, I think they're on the they're either on the back of the lens. They could be on the sensor, I suppose, but it's very tricky to clean. Yeah, I've got a wind blower, but that's about it. I don't really want to do anything more drastic unless in case I damage the sensor itself. It's better to just take the dust off here than it is off the sensor. But I've had the camera a long time, so it collects dust over time. So that's that sorted. So we got the sharpening done. Noise isn't too bad, but I'll put a little bit of noise reduction on there just to smooth things over, but it's not too bad. Colour, I'll leave that as it is. Transform, that's fine. We've got quite a straight horizon. And split, yeah, we'll leave that as it is. So that one's done. So what I'm going to do, because the next picture, this one, is identical to the one before, I'm just going to select that and just press previous, and then what it'll do is it'll apply those previous settings to this image. There we go. So that's that done. I notice that it is a little bit blue, so what I'm going to do is just introduce a little bit of warmth. Probably do a, yeah, that's better. Not sure why it got that. It just made the second image just a little bit cooler. Yeah, that's better. Right, now I've done that, I'm going to transfer both images over to Photoshop. So now we've got both our images in Photoshop. The first things first, we've got it both edited, which is good. We need to stack them. So although they're separate files that are open, they're not on the same picture, as it were. We need to put them together so they create layers within their own image, if that makes sense. So we go to File, Automate, and we want, sorry, is it Automate or is it Scripts? It might be Scripts. Show all images. Load files into stack, that's what we want. So it's a file, come on, File, File, Scripts, show all menu, and then we want to load files into stack. Now it'll show you this screen here and there won't be anything open, but what we want is add open files, because they're already open, and then it'll find the two that we've got open. And what we want to have checked is attempt to automatically align source images, and what that does is it tries to align them best it can on top of one another. So just let that load a little while, and there we are. So it's got the two images now on the same file. As you can see there are our original files, and then it's created a new one with both them stacked on top of one another. It's done a pretty good job of aligning them up. There's a little bit of movement, but that's nothing to worry about. Photoshop will be able to deal with that. And then next we need to go to edit. Oh, actually, if we need to have both layers selected for this. So that's shift and then just press both layers to have them both selected. And we go to edit and auto blend. And it just, if you just where it says stack images, that's fine. And seamless tones, contact aware fill, transparent areas. So you notice these areas here where it's tried to align the image. We've got a checkerboard because it's just moved the pictures on top of one another to correctly align them. When we have content aware fill, transparent areas, it'll get rid of those for us. So we just press OK. Just wait for that to load. There we are, it's coming in. It's quite a lot of thinking Photoshop has to do really when it yeah, so there we have it. So just deselect. So it's done quite a good job around the edges, and we've got front to back focus. So as you can see, we've got the boulder in focus right the way up to the windmill, and it's filled the edges in. We have got some strange artifacts I've noticed in the top corners. I'm not sure what they are. Just get rid of those. Just content aware fill. Another dust spot there, look. Yeah, so there you have it. We've got the windmill front to back focus. So now what we'll do is we'll just go back and we'll create an action. Right, these are your actions here. So these are what call the buttons for the actions. They're in button mode, so we'll just take that off. It may look a little bit daunting at first, but trust me, they're dead easy. So what we'll do is we'll just create another action called front to back focus. And we can give it a key, or we can give it a colour. We'll give it a green colour. We'll leave the function key off in case anything else has got the same function for now. So we'll press record. Now although it's recording, it's not actually recording in time. So it's only going to record the buttons that I press, not actually in time. So although it's recording, don't panic, okay? So what we did first is we stacked the image. So we'll go to File, Script, Load Files into Stack, and make sure Attempt to Automatically Align is grayed out. That's strange. Why is that grayed out? Ah, that's why. I don't. That's because. Yeah. Attempt to automatically align layers. Definitely check that, and that's fine. So they're selected. So press OK. So what that's done now is recorded the first step in the procedure. So there it is. Those scripts. So now remember to select both layers. Go to Edit, Auto Blend, and we want to seamless tones and colours and content aware to get rid of the transparent areas on stack images. Let that load. there we go. So Control D to deselect, and we can then go add another step, layer, flatten image, and then stop recording. So that's it, that's that done. So what we can do now is test that out. So we'll get rid of that one and then go to button mode. We've got front to back focus. Okay, so we'll play it. So it'll come up with this just to tell you which files you want. Attempt to automatically align, press OK, it'll do the rest. And then flatten it. Obviously it's got to think about it. There we are, done. So we just clicked one button, we told it which files we want, and it's done. So now, in future, you've got that button. You just load your files into Photoshop. It could be 2, 3, 4 files, it doesn't matter. I did it with 2. If your background subject is further away from your foreground subject, you may need another picture just to get that middle ground in focus. So yeah, use as many images as you want. It may take a little longer load wise, but you know, this is a great little feature. You know, you don't have to fork out thousands of pounds for expensive lenses or whatever. Just, you know, take the pictures you need, and then when you get home you can create the perfect picture. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I'm going to be editing another photo of Chesterton Windmill from start to finish, so we'll go through the whole process. Yeah, so please subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll see you on the next tutorial. Thank you.